we just did a beautiful meditation, a sky meditation, simplified by Vethathiri Maharishi. And now, Saturday is a special day for all of us in the group meditation, in the sense that we invite a very senior person associated with Swamiji of the system to share his thoughts on some important topic. That's what is satsang, isn't it? Talking about the truth as revealed by great masters. And today, we are lucky to have Arulidhi Senthil Kumar, a person of great dedication, doing so much of social service in spite of the official pressure. He holding a very senior position in a company. I'll just, the title will be Food for Healing. So we have food for thought, food for hunger. But what is this food for healing? Let us, yes, we are all hungry to hear that. But before that, I'll just give some information about him so that, we'll be more keen to learn from this wise man. Mr. Senthil Kumar is a South Florida resident since 1990. I'm just reading out because he has done so much, I can't remember that. A resident since 1999 and working in the IT industry for more than 2 decades. He has a BE Computer Science, Master of Science of Yoga from Bharathidasan University, and an MBA in Systems Management. He has been involved, by the grace of Divine, in various volunteer activities at temples, local schools, soup kitchen, homeless shelters, Salvation Army, Sky Meditation Center, Florida, Sai Center, and other non-profit organizations. Also, he started the South Florida Sky Simplified Kundalini Yoga Meditation Center in 2016, which he continues to serve for the world community by teaching yoga and meditation on a daily basis. Imagine in America, this is happening. Currently, he is serving as a Sky Eastern Zone Coordinator, USA. His hobbies include reading, music, yoga, cooking, biking, and learning new languages. Finally, his aspiration is to spread world peace and happiness everywhere by helping all living beings. A true disciple of Vethathiri Maharishi. Now, I request him on behalf of all of you to talk about food for healing. I hand over the mic to him, sir. Please take over, sir.
All good. Thank you, Anya. Can I share? Be blessed by the divine. First of all, I have to thank World Community Service Center organizing this wonderful event, and every Saturday evening at India and morning at USA. And thanks to organizer, especially Senior Professor Balachandra Ayya and Professor Bharati Amma and other associate for this event. I took this food for healing. It's not new to everyone. Food for basis for everything, for a healthy life and occasional party and daily life. The food for very essential for everything. Everybody knows it. So why I take this food for healing? Because I want to say by my own experience, how I neglected in some sort, even I have been in Vethathiri Maharishi more than 10 years, since I know from 2004, but I have to follow very adultly after 2012, so joining that Maharishi's classes. Maharishi is saying the separate lesson for food alone. I'm going to give only synopsis of his teaching today and also get some experience about his teaching, and also I join my experience from others and myself. So Maharishi is saying, illustrated very clearly in this one, food transforms into body and is essential for survival. Without food, we can not live. And we see the lot of things in the book, and that's what main curriculum, they put it in the foundation course itself. That's the main part. So when measure and method in food habits are not observed, the food begins to eat away the body. What is a great saying? What is the revelation Maharishi is given about this? I'm really grateful to have been part of this organization and elevate my spiritual being from this organization and Sky people, very strong affiliations of senior professors. So Thiruvalluvar says about in Tirukkural about the medicine. After digestion, eat is a right measure, eat in right measure. This is the way for the possessor of the body to prolong its well-being. So after digestion, you have to eat in measure. That's the way you have to keep the body. Everybody knows it, right? Everybody knows. Are we doing it practically? There's one. The awareness is there. Maharishi is saying that all the time you have to be in a focus with Agna and Duriya so that you get awareness to everything. And most our professors are doing it, but sometimes we are lagging in some other things, like especially food comes, right? That's why I'm going to talk about today. Let's see what are the today contents. I'm not taking much more about food because everybody knows about food, and also Maharishi has given that full complete lesson about food, and also book written about how to eat, when to eat, what quality and quantity of eat. So we'll talk about today food before Industrial Revolution, current rise of obesity and lifestyle disease, and reason for the diseases, main reason for the diseases, unhealthy diets. What are the unhealthy diets in the modern world? We are facing it and how to avoid it, and glycemic index of food. So that is a very key point on this session. What are the food you are taking? What is the glycemic index on the food? Then again, the emphasis about the 4 simple steps, which I got it from the Maharishi and various sources, friends, and other scholars. And some useful tips I'm going to give it. That's 2 things you have to take away is the 4 simple steps and useful tips. Let's go jump into them. So food before Industrial Revolution and on current revolution also, the very important you need to take. You see in the food before Industrial Revolution, on the part of the Industrial Revolution, we know that everybody have a different profession. In that time itself, they have the carpentry work, masons, other mechanical things, but the primary for the work is farming. They day to day, they have to go outside and farming in the land, in household, like, let us say like 5 members are there. Out of 5, the ladies will be work for in the kitchen, and then there is also in everything has to do by hand, right? Those times, then we have to go work and expose our sun and get the sunlights and doing all kind of work. The people are mostly healthy. I mean, they never heard about any obesity, or maybe in population 5 to 2%, less than that, they have the lifestyle disease. We really rarely seen the other, what we are seeing today is diabetes or cancer and those days, because of they are working on everything. So mostly they eat fruits, vegetables on the farmland. The families produce their meat and eggs in the farmland. People had seasonal diets. In the spring, summer month, they ate more fruits and vegetables than they did in fall and winter. Most people ate 2 or 3 meals a day, and probably consume very few calories and less fat and sugar. Most people do it today. Also, the portions very small than the people eat today. Although our grandparents may eat more home food, cooked meals, and fresh home-grown vegetables, right? So let's talk about what is the current race of obesity and lifestyle disease. So obesity is the main culprit in the modern world that gives that hypertension, diabetes, and cholesterol, cancer, mood disorder, heart disease, and reproductive disorders. So if you observe that, what is the main cause of obesity? Definitely to be because of our food habits and environment and stress relative. So these are the main cause of the food. That goes next one. What was the reason for the disease? As a simple terms, the reason for the disease, the refined carbs. Refined carbs, nothing but the processed food, the sugary foods intake, and simple carbohydrate. So we used to take the whole plant-based food, grain food, and slowly we changed to refined carbs because of our taste bud. And industry, the streamlining this food in our daily basis and easy to access the food. The main thing, the people tends to go for the refined carbs. See, as like men has to work to be healthy life, and same like our gut also. We cannot gut to be idle. He has to work, he has to do all kind of things. They have to separate the molecules and they separate sugar and brawn, so slow digestion happens. But in the modern world, because of tasty, because of the fast convenience, we are taking the route. We are just putting in the mouth is a refined carbs, just simply like sugar. Sugar is the last component of any food, right? And we are putting that last component is the first itself. The body knows how to break down that molecules and take the sugar. But you are giving the direct carbs direct to the sugar, which not doing the gut also, which is not needed that much because we are not doing that lifestyle we used to have like 40, 50 years. And also think about the chocolates, cakes, and all sugary items. Those days, we used to have the homemade sweet items. Nowadays, we can get every 3 shops, we'll get the sugar shops and food industry, and easily go get it, the sugar. And there are a lot of varieties of chocolate, a lot of variety of carbs, a lot of varieties of cakes. Everything is a refined carbs, right? So that's obesity nearly tripled worldwide since 1975. And 2023 is about 3.12 billion people. About 39% of the global population have obesity. This is a sharp increase from 2008. So when global obesity rate was 23.9% when 2008. But from 2008 to 2023, it raised 39% of the global population. Let us say global population 8 billion, now is 3.12 billion people are obesity. So it's not, obesity is not our individual problem or a family problem. It's like a global public health issue. So some countries may have seen the doubling, tripling of obesity the last 3 decades. Definitely this is due to the modern urbanization and sedentary lifestyle and increased consumption of high-calorie processed food. That I want to insist that high-calorie processed food and direct added sugars. And previously in American diet, I'm talking about this, largely they contains meat, potatoes, only later growing into include fruits, vegetables, milk, but as manufacturer began to streamline the production and they become canned, they easily access and prolong the shelf life. Frozen foods, the processed food becomes very extremely popular and very cheap to get to use it. So over the last 50 years, consumption of sugars tripled worldwide. The United States, there is a fierce controversy over pervasive use of one particular added sugar is called high fructose corn syrup. It is manufactured from the corn syrup, the glucose processed yield roughly the equally mixture of glucose and fructose. Just the chemical or the end product, they're mixing it to so the mass quantity of the sugar. Our stats shows the stark reminder how much our sugar consumption habits change over years. 200 years ago, the American consumed only 2 pounds of sugar per year, whereas today the average American consumes estimates 77 pounds of sugar. Let us say the 2 pounds are all the 77 pounds. All soda, sugary components, if you added all those things, it's taking 77 pounds a year. Then how as to the pancreas or body has to work? Imagine that. And see that what are the unhealthy diets in the modern world is mostly deep fried foods. In those days, we do for deep fried on occasional things, right? We get the whole grain food and everything. Now the deep fried food, most people, they want to eat every day. And processed food, they're taken out brawn and other things from the food. They want to give refined to take the taste. They want to addict to that. They ought to come back and purchase that kind of food. That's what they do it in the processed food. And sugary juices, cakes, chocolates, it's a white bread, it's white breads and sodas. And these are the things easily it affect our pancreas because it has to secretes insulin too much than what we expect our body to do that. It's a more burden our body has to take. Okay, so it's very important. You have to learn the food. What is a glycemic index on each food? How it affects our body. It's a very key to know about this glycemic index. And thanks to who has done this, the glycemic index part is from Jenkins and colleagues, the first developer, the glycemic index of what are the foods. That's we can use this one glycemic index for our purpose, but it's not that high glycemic index we should avoid or something, but is our knowledge. Say, relatively rank of carbohydrate in food according to how they affect the blood glucose levels immediately when you eat some food. That's called a glycemic index. I mean, carbohydrates with a low GI value are more slowly digested, absorbed, and metabolized, and cause the lower and slower rise in blood glucose and therefore usually insulin levels. Right? The fat and fiber tends to lower the GI food. As a general rule, the more cooked or processed food, the higher GI. However, this is not always true. Some food will be changed. Let us say watermelon, you take, it's a high glycemic index, but it won't affect then the pasta, which is a lower glycemic index. See the glycemic index, broccoli, celery, cucumber, lettuce, this is a very low index, which is less than 55. And medium glycemic index 56, 69%, high glycemic index. So everything, even grains, vegetables, fruits, dairy, proteins, we have this kind of glycemic index. They are marked. So we have to take this low glycemic index and moderate on the medium one. And you have to give very less on the high glycemic index, right? So here's the glycemic index map. So when you eat high glycemic index, what happens? The blood sugar shoot up immediately. That's why you eat simple carbohydrate. You can feel that sudden energy. It comes. Then after that, certain time, it collapses. Then you feel lethargic. That is called food coma. When you eat some kind of carbohydrate, especially pasta, spaghetti, or pongal, whatever that pongal we cannot say, but different things, very simple thing, white rice we could say. It increased our glycemic index and suddenly drops. That has to be rigorous work on our pancreas. So I don't want to go through how it works pancreas and create insulin and absorb the glucose from the cells. But I want to say that you are aware of the glycemic index, or which food you take, moderate, which should avoid mostly. That's what we are giving in the ancient thing, sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic food. Tamasic food is very lethargic things we are to avoid, like potatoes, all with a ground-rooted vegetables. Below the ground level, you should be very less. Above the ground level, you eat more. Okay. Let's say come to the point. What I have been gone through my thing, because I was for last 30, 40 years, I'm doing the yoga myself and a healthy life. I do a lot of running. I do a Maharishi's exercise and Kayakalpa, everything. But one thing I noticed that I feel very good, everything, but something is not right because I'm not taking care of the food. That's, it's a part of our life. When you see the food outside, we are tempting to eat, right? What I got, my experiences, I have some borderline problem with blood sugar level increased, and my BP was shoot up a little bit. Not because I'm doing regular exercise, I don't want that. My weight is the main thing. Is my weight is not reducing it. My weight is say like 192 pounds. I was there slowly, but it's not. Even I do a lot of running, a lot of exercise. My weight is not going down. I have a goat tissue in spite of all those things, which I don't know why it's happening. Then I was a little researching that I know about food. Maharishi is saying about food and where I'm lagging. I really don't understand. where I'm lagging it. And finally, I get the point from various sources like Dr. B.M. Egde, Professor Ravindra Ayya from Bangalore. And the one key point I got from Sundar JC regarding of intermittent fasting, and insulin resistant by Dr. Jason Fung, the fast and weight loss by Dr. Pradeep, and bitter truth about sugar and how it causes the disease. So these are the person they highlighted me, and also with the Maharishi, I go read it back, Maharishi's book completely, and find out these 4 simple steps. This is what I followed it. I follow the intermittent fasting from 12 hours to 16 hours. So initially, it takes very hard to have the intermittent fasting because you have to be 16 hours fasting, but it can be easy also. You eat dinner at 8 o'clock, you have to eat 12 o'clock. But the hunger will start from 10 o'clock. That's what you have to face the problem. So I got slowly into that. I slowly started like 13 hours, 14 hours, 15 hours, then 16 hours. You don't feel that kind of hunger. When everything, then I thought it's from the mind. The mind is the one doing everything. When the hungry comes, there is come and go on it. But you change your mind and focusing some other point, definitely it won't feel the hunger. Then I slowly get rid of all sugary added items. Okay. And according to the UK Diabetic Association, they said that fat and fiber tends to lower your glycemic index food, right? And also, the main thing is you don't have to cut the sugar out completely. Sugar found naturally in fruit, vegetables, and dairy foods. And most of us are not getting the recommended 5 serving fruit and vegetable a day. So that's important. We don't cut these out as they are so good for you. It's the point, it's a free sugar that we all need to cut down. That's very important. You need to cut down. It's a free sugar. Okay. It's added sugar. You have to read the label. And it's obviously, sweet things like biscuit, because you don't need, but moderate you can intake, but cut down the free sugar. You can see that drastically, you can see that improvement one. That's what I saw it. Drastically, I just cut the added sugar mostly. Then eat slowly. Okay. Very eat slowly. Maharishi itself saying about eat slowly with the saliva. So 10 to 15 times when you eat, at least minimum 10 times, and chew and take 15 to 20 times for each meal. And when you eat this one, you can avoid food coma. They said food coma. After eating afternoon, like most of people, they get immediate sleep because the insulin spikes up. So you get food, the carbohydrate makes you very tired, and you go sleeps. And the next thing, third thing is you look for your plate. Half of your plate with veggies and quarter with protein. If you're eating non-veg, I'm not going to suggest anything what to eat, not to eat, but I'm saying protein. It can be chickpeas, it can be any other meat also if you eat. Otherwise, strictly you want to be in vegetarian, you can have a protein. And so many proteins in our vegetarian diet, including cheese, paneer, all those things you can add it. Half of the plate with the veggies, which is a fiber, most fiber. And the quarter with the whole grain food. Whole grains, which is we can use that not white rice. Instead of white rice, we can use basmati, you can use brown rice, whichever is a whole grain, we can use that one. So it takes longer to digest. And walk 10 minutes after each meal. This is very important when you do it. It helps to regulate our circulation. And the walking is our leg is a second heart to our body. It pumps our from leg to our upper level, so that heart will be work very easily, and the circulation, 3 circulation will be done like blood purification will be then air circulation, the life energy circulation, and the heat circulation. When you do this for 10 minutes. If you cannot walk, you can kind of walk in the inside our home, or you can do some activities while standing up. That's very important. This is one key to reduce my weight loss and see my blood result. Everything come down. Like last 20 years, I have my cholesterol was 240. It comes to 180, and triglyceride and never below 200. It came around 100. My bad cholesterol comes normal 130. Before used to be 160 all the time. I don't know, but I do everything good, but which I really couldn't figure out. After doing this one, completely take off the sugar, added sugar in our day-to-day eating habits, it comes down everything, right? And eat slowly. That's also a very key point. Off your plate with the veggies and quarter protein and quarter of the whole grains. These are 4 steps, very important, our diet, okay? And the next thing, useful, I am at the end of session, I come some useful tips. You have to gap between meals, and Maharishi also insists about this thing, 3 to 4 hours each meal, so that it digests properly, that you feel the hunger before eating 1 hour, right? And eat fruits in the daytime before dinner. That's a very good. Don't eat at after 6 or 7, so that increase the sugar level if you has some high glycemic fruits. Limit intake of fried foods and added sugar. That's very important. American Association, Art Association, they're giving the 30 grams of sugar, but my suggestion is still reduce that 15 grams of sugar. This is added sugar. I'm talking about it. The whole sugar, they're saying about 30 grams of sugar per day. Then also, suppose you want to eat like carbs or everything, add with the fiber, protein, fat first. Ordering of eating should be the fiber, protein, fat, and carbs. Carbohydrate would be a final thing. Even if you want to eat banana, you can put some peanut butter and eat it. That will give more time to digest, processed. So I give another useful tips. This is from YouTube. It's very famous. His name is Justin, I guess. He given like more than 100 videos about each food, how it rise your glycemic index. It's a very useful to us, which food we can take instead of we don't check every day your glucose level or something. Is very good. It gives all food varieties, so very useful to us to do that. And one more thing for everybody, keep one glucose monitor and blood pressure in our house. We don't need to do every day. Those are have a medication. They can accordingly consult their doctors, and they can do it. Otherwise, just keep it monthly. Once you can check our glucose levels and blood pressure. So I'm not a doctor. I have to disclaim the first, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not a professional dietitian, but I got very good about natural food from all our professors, seniors, and other people which were they are sincerely working on the natural treatment. Okay. Now, other things I want to some app is a My Fitness app. It's a very good tool, great tool for what other food have the calorie, which how much calorie you have it, and how much you can intake. Slow. When you want weight loss, you have to slowly reduce the intake, not much. For daily calories, for men is they are given 2,500, for women is 2,000, but it depends upon your body weight measure, it varies. And so once you attain the goal, you have to maintain that calorie to bring to have the maintenance. Otherwise, you'll go down. It'll be a issue. And another one, so the fasting, that is called Zero app. They are very, very helpful when you do the fasting, like 13 hours for fasting, 14 hours, 16 hours. It will give that history and how long you are doing fasting, how many days. It's very helpful for this, for beginners. The two apps very important. Last but least, I want to conclude with the Maharishi's principle. The measures and methods for food, work, rest, sex, and thought bringing lasting peace. It's not only you consider food, we have to consider how we are work, the rest, how we are giving, sex and thoughts. This one brings our lasting peace, our life. And incorporate the moderate exercise in our one, so that it circulate our body, all the blood circulation, each circulation, air circulation will be properly done, and use the meditation and introspection to free our stress in our day-to-day life. And we can go towards goal for our spirituality also elevate. And Kayakalpa is a strengthening of our life force. And with this, I hope you got something from this session. And thank you for coming to today's session. And thank you for everyone. Be blessed by divine Kayakalpa.
Thank you very much, Professor Senthil Kumar, for your excellent speech on the topic food for healing. You rightly mentioned our Maharishi's quotes and our Maharishi's topic on measure and method. And that is, food is important for us for survival, but what are the foods to be taken? And for this, you just explained that is through how the food was before industrial evolution, and what is the what are the type of food we are taking nowadays, and the reason for our current rise in obesity, diabetes, and all. And you mentioned about this glycemic index and all. And you just rightly quoted that our sedentary lifestyle is the main reason for our getting diseases and all. And if only we just do some changes and follow our Maharishi's views on food, we can definitely come up in life and have a disease-free life. You have mentioned about your personal life, that is just a story you have told it. That is how you were before following Maharishi's, and how you changed after following the 4 simple steps, namely that is fasting, and then eating slowly, that is chewing and eating. That will definitely make us get rid of this diabetes, and that is the saliva has to be added, ground well, and then only we need to take the food inside. And also the food we eat should have half vegetables, quarter of proteins, and whole grains, quarter of whole grains and all. And you also suggested walking 10 minutes after each food will do good. And thank you very much, sir, for that. And also that is this method and measure and methods theory of Maharishi. If only we follow it, not only for food, but also for our work, sleep, sex, thoughts, and all, we will definitely lead a very happy life. You have rightly said all these things. Thank you so much for your excellent speech on food for healing. We would like to hear more from you in the following weeks, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Dear friends, now it is time for question and answer. Yes, Professor Arlanandam is there. Yes, Professor Arlanandam.
Thank you, madam.
Yes.
My dear friends, all of you be blessed by the divine. So first, I endorse the views of Professor Bharati madam. In addition to that, I really appreciate our Professor Senthil Kumar, who has presented so many facts which are very much essential for everybody who is listening in person, and also those who are going to listen the recorded matter also. And he has had his own experience of how he was able to come out from an extreme state of all negative points in his health. Really great, I think. Even though I know him for the last 4 or 5 years, I have not heard of it because we did not have the occasion to speak about it. So I am really very happy to hear, and I appreciate his extraordinary efforts in collecting all this data and presenting it appropriately. And so finally, I really can very super and very useful speech. It should reach the millions of people all over the world. At least after hearing this and knowing our Maharishi's principles in intake of food also, people will certainly transform themselves. As frankly told, how people are very much affected. We are all seeing. I am also in USA now. I see how people are addicted to certain food which are not at all healthy. But we cannot do anything unless they hear such speeches and know that their habit is very bad and they have to change the habit. There is no other way to transform themselves. So with this, I conclude my feedback once again with my hearty congratulations to Professor Senthil. Thanks, my hearty thanks to the organizers, especially Senior Professor Balachandra, Professor J.K. Bharati, and other friends, and other viewers also. Thank you. Be blessed by the divine.
Be blessed. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Arulanandamaya. Anyone else? Anybody else having any questions? Any discussions on food? We are hearing some back, some sound is going on in the back. I do not know from where it is coming. Anyone else having any questions? Professor Balachandra?
Professor Arulanandan, please check whether there's some other sound coming from your place. I don't know, somewhere they're getting a lot of sound.
Yes. Okay, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yes, Professor Senthil Kumar, it was a very beautiful presentation. As he said, he's not a doctor, but he's so interested about food and the bad effects of food. In fact, he has been a very kind host long time back when we were there. And I was astonished at the knowledge he has about food and related matter and health and all that. And today we could see how much of data and information he has been providing to all of us. While in the less developed countries, people die out of hunger, disease because of hunger, lack of food. In developed countries, it is because of overeating, wrong lifestyle, that we are having disease, and this is unfortunate, isn't it? And then we spend in doctors and hospitals and all that, and we can't lead a full life. So if only we take slight care about health. So here's an example. You don't have to be a medical doctor to do all these things. It is just awareness and doggedly following it, not falling a prey to our taste buds. That's all is required. Thank you very much. It's a beautiful presentation. And we are given a lot of food for thought, for food for healing. Okay. So let us hope for, we'll do it, we'll put it in action. Thank you very much. Be blessed.
All good. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Professor Balachandran. Anyone else having any questions?
Yeah, Kiran Maiji, you can unmute them.
Yes.
Madam, you can unmute and speak. Kiran, madam, do you want to say something? Because there was a, oh, she just thanked. Is it okay?
Shall we conclude?
Okay, madam, if there's no more questions.
I once again thank Professor Senthil Kumar for his excellent talk on food for healing. And thank you very much, Professor Balachandran, for your continued guidance and support. Thank you, dear participants. Let's meet again next Saturday on another interesting topic on Vethathiriyam. And dear friends,